Welcome. Welcome to the White Roads Family Channel. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah, and these are the words I'm compelled to present before an awakening, set-apart nation. Before I get into this message, I want to say this up front. The views expressed in these words do not necessarily reflect the views of the owners, managers, shareholders, and or sponsors of this media platform. With that said, let's get into it. White Roads Family Channel, a channel designated for the set-apart children of Yahuah, a channel for those who are drawn by Yahuah, the Almighty Father, to Yahusha, Yahusha, His Word. How can we communicate with the Almighty Father Yahuah? We are a lesser being. The way we are able to communicate is through His Word. His Word comes to us in the name of Yahusha. Yahusha. And in due season, we will come to understand that it is the Word of Yahuah that will draw us together. It is the Word, as it states in John 12:32. If Yahusha be lifted up, He will draw all men to Himself. That's speaking of Yahuah drawing all men by His Word to Him. This series, the Final Exodus Countdown 2023, we are less than 14 months away. Actually, almost 13 months. Well, 13 months away from knowing without a doubt that there will be a final exodus. Without a doubt that our 400 years of captivity is coming to an end. My brothers and sisters, in this segment, I want to talk about final set-apart decisions. There's a lot of talk. There's a lot of people saying, Yah said this, or the Lord told me this and that, without regards to how to examine and discern whether it is indeed the voice of the Spirit of Yahuah coming to us in Yahusha's name or not. Sure, the scriptures say, try the Spirit, test the Spirit. But there must be some counsel. There must be some wise methods used to examine the Spirit that is influencing you and identifying whether it is indeed the Almighty Father or not. And so many people don't understand. They hide, they dodge, they don't want to talk about that iron sharpening iron, or examining one another, judging one another, as the Spirit moves in us one towards another. Believe it or not, people are dying each day. And with that death come final decisions that they have made. We, most of us, do not know that some decisions we are faced with will be the final decisions we've ever made in our lives. It's time, O Yashar'al, to realize that these are end times. And as we approach our physical death, or for those who will be physically alive upon the return of Yahusha, as we approach that transformation time, we must know some of these decisions we make will be the final decisions we've made, given the circumstances and the situation. So do you know how to choose wisely? Remember the days of Noah. My brothers and sisters, I want to say this. As I read this, I want you to think. We say we believe in the scriptures. We say the scriptures are true. Many of us have no problem echoing 10 commandments, laws, and statutes. But all of the scriptures from Genesis to Revelation, do we believe they were true? Do we believe that things that happened in times past could repeat themselves? Are we demonstrating our sincere belief of what is written? Remember the days of Noah. Come with me to Genesis 7:13 through 22. Genesis chapter 7, verse 13 through 22. It says, on that same day, Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, the sons of Noah and Noah's wife, and 3 wives of his sons with them went into the ark. And they, and every life form after its kind, and every beast after its kind, and every creeping creature that creeps on the earth after its kind, and every bird after its kind, and every bird of every sort. And they went into the ark to Noah, 2 by 2, of all flesh, in which is the breath of life. And those going in, male and female, of all flesh, went in as the Almighty One had commanded him. And Yahuah shut him in. And the flood was on the earth 40 days, and the waters increased and lifted up the ark, and it rose high above the earth. And the waters were mighty, greatly increased on the earth, and the ark moved about on the surface of the waters. And the waters were exceedingly mighty on the earth, and all the high mountains under all the heavens were covered. The waters became mighty, 15 cubits upwards, and the mountains were covered, and all flesh died. The creeping creature on the earth, birds and cattle and beasts, and every swarming creature that swarms on the earth, and all mankind, all whose nostrils was the breath of the spirit of life, all that was on the dry land died. My brothers and sisters, do you think those that were left off the ark realized that they had made some final decisions when they ignored Noah, when they ignored Abba Yahuah and pursue righteousness? Do you think even as they were drowning, some called on Abba Yahuah, making that last decision to change their mind and call on Abba Yahuah? If we believe the scriptures, my brothers and sisters, and know the ways that the Almighty Father has established for us, we will come to realize final decisions. I say set-apart decisions are in terms of saying righteous decisions must be made and will be made. For some, it would be the last minute, and some not so much. Remember the days of Lot. Come with me to Genesis chapter 19, verses 23 through 29. It reads, the sun had risen upon the earth when Lot entered Zoar, and Yahuah rained sulfur and fire on Shalum and Gomorrah from Yahuah out of the heavens. So he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the city and what grew on the ground. But his wife, is speaking on Lot's wife, looked back from behind, and she became a post of salt. And Abraham rose early in the morning and went to the place where he had stood before Yahuah. And he looked towards Sodom and Gomorrah and towards all the land of the plain. And he looked and saw the smoke of the land which went up like the smoke of a furnace. Thus came to be, when the Almighty One destroyed the cities of the plain, that the Almighty One remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in which Lot had dwelt. Do you think? And my brothers, if you read the whole story a lot, you'll see his son-in-law thought he was joking. He was telling them they need to get out of Sodom and Gomorrah. Thought it was a joke. Do we believe something similar to this could happen again? Are we aware that it says the Almighty Father does not change? I want you to remember the days of Moses, a time when there was rebellion against the leadership of Yahuah. Specifically in Numbers 16th chapter, verse 23 through 34. Come with me, my brother, my sister. Let us read about something that happened in days of old, but could happen again in these final days. 16:23, Numbers 16:23 through 34 says, and Yahuah spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the congregation, saying, move away from around the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. So Moshe rose up and went to Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Yashar'al followed him. And he spoke to the congregation, saying, please, turn away from the tents of these wrong men. Do not touch whatever belongs to them, lest you be consumed in all their sins. Then they moved away from around the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. And Dathan and Abiram came out and stood at the door of their tents with their wives, their sons, and their little children. And Moshe said, by this you know that Yahuah has sent me to do all the works, that they are not from my own heart, If these die as all men do, and if they are visited as all men are visited, then Yahuwah has not sent me. But if Yahuwah creates what is unheard of, and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them up with all that belongs to them, and they go down into the grave, or Sheol, then you should know that these men have scorned Yahuwah. Do we know that when we scorn the obedient of Yahuwah, that's like scorning or attempting to scorn Yahuwah? Let us be mindful of the decisions we make, my brothers and sisters, before we scorn, before we bear false witness, before we join in with others who criticize the obedient. Let us make sure we are able to discern the obedient versus the wicked, the discerning versus the undiscerning. It came to be, I'm going to the 31st verse, and it came to be as he ended speaking all these words that the ground under them split apart, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up with their households and all the men with Korah with all their goods. So they and all those with them went down alive into the grave, or in Sheol, and the earth closed over them, and they perished from the midst of the assembly. And all Yashar'al who were around about them fled at their cry, for they said, lest the earth swallow us up. Could something happen like this again today? Are there individuals who fight against the leadership of Yahuwah? My brothers and sisters, bear with me a second. My brothers and sisters, in times, many will recognize their last decisions. Some will rejoice and say, whew, I'm glad I chose the right direction, the right path, the right person to listen to, the right person to follow, the right ones to be around. But there will be those who will be left behind. There will be those who fight against the obedient. What say you, O Yashar'al? Are you doing all that you can? Look around as uncertainty ramps up, as the many communications go out about what's going to happen, what will happen, what's happening. Where do you fit in, O Yashar'al? Where do you believe you fit in? Have you made the right decision? Do you know how to make the right decision? Do you know how to test that decision? And if you identify that it is wrong, come away from the incorrect decision and move to what is right. In some cases, the decisions individuals will make, their life will be extinguished in an instant. Some, their life will face heartache, regret, and pain, while others will rejoice that they made the right and final decision. What say you, O Yashar'al? Come with me as we continue. Let's visit these words. For the passages that I read about Noah and Lot was in what is known as the Old Testament. Let's look at what is known in the New Covenant, or the New Testament. New Covenant, same covenant, promise from the Almighty Father, just in more detail described. But let's look here at Matthew 24:37 through 42. And as the days of Noah, so also shall the coming of the Son of Adam be. Isn't that letting us know that there's going to be some similarities to the day of Noah in these final days? It says, for as they were in the days before the flood, eating, drinking, marrying, giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered to the ark. And they did not know until the flood came and took them all away. So also shall the coming of the Son of Adam be. Then two shall be in the field, one is taken, the other one left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, one's taken, one left. Watch therefore, for you do not know what hour your master is coming. And I will say something even more to that, O Yashar'al. You don't know that hour that your last breath will be taken. So have you made the right decisions? Set apart decisions that you are comfortable with? Let's also visit Luke 17:28 through 36. For it reads, and likewise, as it came to be in the days of Lot, they were eating, they were drinking, they were buying, they were selling, they were planting, they were building. But on the day Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and sulfur from heaven and destroyed all. It shall be the same in the day of the Son of Adam is revealed. In that day he shall be on the house. In that day he who shall be on the housetop, and his goods in the house, let him not come down and take them away. And likewise the one who is in the field, let him not turn back. Remember the wife of Lot. Whoever seeks to save his life will lose it. Whoever loses his life shall preserve it. I said to you, in that night there shall be two in the bed, in one bed, the one shall be taken, the other shall be left. Two women shall be grinding together, the one shall be taken, the other left. Two shall be in the field, the one shall be taken, the other left. I want to go back and reread 17:33, Luke 17:33. Whoever seeks to save his life will lose it. Whoever loses his life shall preserve it. My brothers and sisters, are we willing to try to preserve our ego, save face, so to speak, protect pride? Or are we prepared to loose it, bind it up, the egos, the pride, lose this self-image for the sake of Yahusha? What is your decision? As end times come, don't think there will be a final exodus with unity with all these different names for Yahuwah, or all these different names for the Messiah, or all these different practices and positions of belief. Massive corrections are coming, and not every one is true, but that which is true will be preserved and proven and rise up in the midst of all the uncertainty and different positions of belief. Beware, O Yashar'al. Beware of those who hide their lack of discerning and say that I'm fear-mongering. Fear has its place. There's two types of fear: the fear of Yahuwah and the fear of what man can do. The realities in life bring heartache and pain, bring rejoicing and praise. It depends on the decisions that we made, O Yashar'al, for the fruit of our actions will visit us. I had a brother one time say I was cursing him and his family because I said the fruit of his actions will visit him. So he said I was putting a curse on him. If his actions are the pursuit of obedience to the Almighty Father, that would be marvelous that the fruit of his actions is him. But if he knows his actions are wicked, discipline will come. Correction will come. Yashar'al, there are those who will bear false witness and claim people are fear-mongering or claim people are parsing scriptures because they can't discern the connectivity of what is set apart, what is right. They can't or haven't or fail to demonstrate set-apart decisions. They make final decisions, some which are extremely wrong and incorrect. Remember, fear has its place, O Yashar'al. I said it, and I want to bring you to Proverbs 9:10. For Proverbs 9:10 reads, the fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the set-apart one is understanding. You see, the fear of Yahuwah, some will say, no, that didn't mean fear. The original Hebrew meant reverence. I submit to you, the fear of Yahuwah brings pause. It brings caution. It brings the need to examine whether a matter is of Yahuwah or not. The fear of Yahuwah brings the wisdom but also brings the swiftness of his Spirit's ability to work in us and through us, if he so desire. The knowledge of the set-apart one brings that understanding. We understand why a matter is what it is. So, my brothers and sisters, the fear of Yahuah is a good thing. Proverbs 14:26 and 27 say, "In the fear of Yahuah is strong trust, and his children have a place of refuge." Do you think that this final exodus, do you think that these final days, do you think that these end times with tsunamis and earthquakes and wars and battles and disarray and confusion, do you think this is a time that we should begin to identify that place of refuge? Could that place of refuge be among other set-apart children that are obedient? And if we're busy hanging out with those who say it's okay to agree to disagree, we all Israelites, we should just work together. I say to you, O Yashar'al, there is set-apart Yashar'al, and there are wicked Yashar'al. Just like there are sojourners grafted into the body of Yashar'al, and there are wicked heathen Gentiles that are outside of the set-apart family. We must learn the difference and understand that that place of refuge will prove that the more of us come together, there's a degree of refuge. And as we move towards this final exodus, we will find that ultimate refuge where the Almighty Father have us. For some, that refuge will be physical death and sleep. The unbelieving, the undiscerning, those who struggle, those who are seduced by undiscerning pastors, community heads, priests, deacons, spiritual influencers, may find themselves outside that place of refuge. The fear of Yahuah is a fountain of life to turn away from the snares of death. Understand these words, my brothers and sisters. For he who is a child of Yahuah will not face death. Physical death, maybe, but not everlasting death. Yashar'al, do not get caught in the wrong place or with the wrong people. We must learn how to examine the processes that will be taking place in the days ahead. Consider this, Yashar'al. In Matthew chapter 10, verse 34 through 39, the Messiah, the Mashiach, Yahusha is quoted. The word of Yahuah is quoted as saying, "Do not think that I've come to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I've come to bring division. A man against his father, a daughter against her mother, a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's enemies are those of his own household." In these end times, I've seen many outspoken individuals say, yeah, me and my family. I want to make sure me and my family. Not realizing that there are some in their family can care less about serving the Almighty Father. There will be enemies in our own household. Let us realize that our true mother and father are those that do the will of the Almighty Father. Notice here it says in the 37th verse, and I'm going to read to the 39th. "He who loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. He who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me." You see, we forget that it is Abba Yahuah that breathed the breath of life into each and every individual around us and before us. We must put he who gives life before anything or anyone else. And said, "He who does not take up his stake and follow after me is not worthy of me. He who has found his life shall lose it. He that has lost his life for my sake shall find it." Discover what this means, Yashar'al. We must understand how judgment begins at the house of Yahuah first. There's a lot of people saying, well, the reason we can't come together and we don't do this, and if we do this and if we do that, then there could be unity. Understand this. O Yashar'al, judgment begins at the house of Yahuah first, because there will be unity. It's not going to be an if. When we believe the scriptures to be true, when we can recognize the life in the written word, when we can see the life of Yahuah working in us, through us, and through his obedience widely, when we can recognize righteousness, set apartness, my brothers and sisters, then we can understand why judgment begins at the house of Yahuah first. It would be as iron sharpening iron. So yes, there'll be some conflict, but the conflict would tap down or tone down as we purge the wicked from us and come away from compromising positions of belief. There are brothers that would say, oh, let's not talk doctrine. Doctrine means teaching. If you can't teach the ways of righteousness, then how do we grow and mature? What is the purpose of iron sharpening iron? Judgment in the house of Yahuah, getting our house in order. This starts with the man in the mirror. Those under the same roof. Those of the same family. Come with me, 1 Peter 4:17 through 19. Now sure, there are the wicked who just stir up confusion and strife and battles, unfruitful battles. But those who put us to the task of discerning what is right, that's the difference. 1 Peter 4:17 through 19 said, because it's time for judgment to begin at the house of the Almighty One. And if firstly from us, what is the end of those who do not obey the good news of the Almighty One? And if the righteous one is scarcely saved, where shall the wicked and the sinner appear? So then those who suffer according to the desire of the Almighty One should commit their lives to a trustworthy Creator in doing good. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, are we making the right decisions? Are we aware that some of these decisions may be the final decision? Whether it be whom we are with, what words we say to a person, how we act before our last breath or before they take their last breath. Have we ever been in a situation where you say, the last time I saw this brother, that sister, I said this to him, I did that to him. I left an impression that I didn't want to. I'm so sorry I didn't have a chance to correct it. Let us begin to walk in wisdom. Choose our words wisely. Make wise decisions, my brothers and sisters. There are many examples of pain, regret, and death. We are the final generation. Know what is expected, my brothers and sisters. Know what's expected. Know what's expected, and let us pursue righteousness above all, to worship and obey the Almighty Father. My brothers and sisters, I want you to come with me. Come with me to Matthew. Remember, end time prophecies are being fulfilled. Consider these words. Also consider these words. Matthew 5:43 through 45 says, you heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor. But I say to you, love your enemies. Bless them cursing you. Do good to those hating you, and pray for those insulting you and persecuting you, so that you become sons of your Father in the heavens. Let's break this down, my brothers and sisters. Many people will dismiss the writings of the so-called New Testament because they can't discern the life in them. When it says, love your enemies, the love of Yahuah is doing what is right. That means purge them from you if you have to. Come away from them. Show love that brings them into righteousness. Know how to demonstrate the same love the Almighty Father displays to us. And sometimes that's a binding together. Sometimes that's a purging. Sometimes it's a coming away. Letting your enemies see that you're doing what's best for them according to ways and statutes of the Almighty Father. When they say, bless those cursing you, it's doing what is right in the eyes of Yahuah. It's not just saying, oh, bless you, brother. No, I'm doing this. I'm treating you this way or that way, as ordered by the Spirit of Yahuah. Do good to those hating you. We don't have to say because they hate us, we hate you too. We do as the Almighty Father guides us. Sometimes we do because the person don't know any better. It says, pray for those insulting you and persecuting you. Are you aware when Stephen was stoned to death, he prayed before those that was actually killing them, saying, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing? You see, the undiscerning moray teacher, pastor, they don't understand what this means. Those who hold on to just the text, when they read this, they rather just dismiss these words as wrong and should not be in the scriptures. Pray, O Yashar'al. Pray to discern what every passage means. Discern the life. Make the right decisions. It says, so that you become sons of your Father in the heavens, because He makes. Now hear this. I got it in bold if you're looking at the slide. He makes His sun rise on the wicked and on the good. And He sends rain on the righteous and on the unrighteous. You see, my brothers and sisters, sends rain on the righteous and unrighteous. My brothers and sisters, many will be surprised at decisions someone close to them will make and have made. The Almighty Father is not going to hold back His discipline, His vengeance, or His wrath until you move out the way, till I move out the way. There will be those moved to safety to fulfill His promises. And that there will be set apart brothers and sisters that will be caught in the earthquake, caught in the tsunami, caught in the destruction that wars will bring, caught in the midst of pandemics, diseases, drought, and famine. Yes, set apart ones. Don't believe these who give you a false sense of security, saying, oh, we are going to be brought to safety. He's not going to do anything to us. Remember the scripture says, he who seeks to save his life will lose it. And he who loses his life for the sake of Yahuah will gain life. There will be some in the midst of all that is getting ready to happen. The destruction, the chaos, the sickness, the famine, the drought. There will be some in the midst. Are we not aware that the scriptures even tell us sometimes He prepare our table in the midst of our enemies? You see, there will be some letting those who are in the midst know, do not be alarmed. This plan is the plan of the Almighty Father. And to His children, when we face physical death, we rest until resurrection time. We sleep. Let us prepare to receive whatever end matter comes to us that the Almighty Father see fit for us to experience. If you're looking at the brother to the left or right, if you're looking at this group or that group, you might be surprised as things get intense at that last minute. Some of them walk away from that camp, that community, that fellowship. They walk away because they discern where there was some wickedness. And I'm not saying for every camp, and I'm not saying for every community. But people will be surprised. They think that everybody is with them. And as end times ramp up, final set-apart decisions will show a fruit that will unveil those who begin to receive correction and move to where they're supposed to be. Pray, O Yashar'al. Are you making the right decision? It may be your last. Prepare to witness set-apart abilities. Sometimes we can't recognize the set-apart abilities because we haven't examined the matter to see whether it's indeed set apart. I share this often, and I will share it again. Yashar'al, my brothers and sisters, consider Philippians 1:8-11. Philippians 1:8-11. For the Almighty One is my witness, how I long for you all with the affection of Yahusha Messiah. This I pray, that your love might extend more and more in knowledge. Are we doing things to gain the knowledge of the Almighty Father so that we are able to discern when it is indeed His voice speaking to us, whether directly or through another? He said more in knowledge and all discernment. Listening, paying attention, making the right decisions. It said for you to examine the matters that differ in order to be sincere, not stumbling into the day of Messiah, being filled with the fruit of righteousness. Through Yahusha Messiah, to the esteem and praise of the Almighty One. My brothers and sisters, if we were as a glass of water, and there was debris in that water, do we really have a glass filled with water? The more debris removed, the more room for the glass to be filled with righteousness. If we look at the water as the word of Yahuwah, as the spirit of Yahusha working in us, are we removing the debris? Are we removing the things that are obstacles? Are we making choice decisions that set us apart from wickedness, erroneous teachings, practices, and beliefs? Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al. The promises of the Abba Yahuwah will prove to fill us and remove the debris. Why do you think there will be discipline? Know the importance, my brothers and sisters, of pressing forward. In these final days, looking back at what happened yesterday, last year, constantly talking about the past, even genealogies, constantly talking about them. We're out of balance. Our focus is off. These are the final days. We must begin to press forward, press into the things that are expected to come, knowing what to do, making the right decisions, embracing those decisions that will be final. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al. Fear-mongering or sharing some realities. That is your choice. But know this, the Almighty Father has promised discipline to those whom He loves. And what He has promised, He will be successful. He has been in the past, He is now, and He will be successful in the future, of proving that His promises will be fulfilled. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al, it would be wise to know what to do, my brothers and sisters, when we encounter tough choices. Know how to vet. Scriptures tell us that in a multitude of counsel there is safety. Some don't understand that means in a multitude of set-apart, obedient counsel. Not just grabbing a bunch of people who believe the same as you, or because you think these elders all agree, then they must be wise elders. Learn how to discern wise counsel and leadership. Learn how to discern the voice of the Almighty Father that comes to us in Yahusha's name, that may lead you to give counsel, or me to give counsel. We must face the realities, O Yashar'al, that there is work to be done. There is much work to be done, and it will. Now, whether we are participants in the things that feed praise to Abba Yahuwah or not, it's going to happen. There will be those who are obedient, those who come to understand what iron sharpens iron, those who move away from compromising groups and fellowships, those who understand that agree to disagree is a wicked term, those who understand that doctrine is teaching, and teachings of set-apartness is important. Be advised, my brothers and sisters, there are matters that require work, more work to identify the obedient than others. We must not be idle. Let me read Romans 12, 9 through 13. It says, let love be without hypocrisy. It requires studying and praying to discern, to see whether someone is being hypocritical or not. It says, shrink from what is wicked and cling to what is good. Shrink means reduce the wickedness. Reduce the debris. If we are as a glass of water, take out the debris. Reduce the distractions. Learn how to focus and bring balance. And cling to what is good. It's saying brotherly love, tenderly loving towards one another. And appreciation, giving preference to each other. Preference to set apartness, my brothers and sisters, what he's saying here. not idle in duty, ardent in spirit, strong in spirit, fervent and sincere. It goes on saying, serving the master, rejoicing in the expectancy, enduring under pressure, continuously, steadfastly in prayer, imparting to the needs of the set-apart ones, pursuing kindness towards strangers. We must understand what these words mean. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, though my words may seem repetitive about final set-apart decision, do you know each day we make some final decisions? We make decisions before someone that we may never see again. Each day we make decisions that can affect our lives. You see, there are no rewind buttons. There are no do-overs, O Yashar'al. Let us look what is expected of us. Let us look to the Almighty Father and understand all the details and processes that we must do to demonstrate obedience, to prove that His Word is working in us, through us, one towards another, knowing how to face matters that require purging, knowing what to do when it means come away, knowing how to deal with the change of moving from one precept to another that brings us into maturity. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, I thank you for your patience. There's a lot to be done. I ask you, are you my brother? Are you my sister? Why don't we communicate? Prepare to witness, my brothers and sisters, Abba Yahuwah's answers to this question. And this is a question that you can ask others. Are we really engaging one another to forge tight into a relationship, the relationship that is necessary to demonstrate unity, to begin to show a glimmer of the fulfillment of the expectancy of the Almighty Father for us to come together, to be gathered? We must begin to ask, what does that look like? How is it going to come to be? The scriptures, when made alive, explain much to us. And if we pray and discern, we'll see that there are chosen ones to guide, to lead, to direct, as they are directed by Abba Yahuwah through His Word that come to us in Yahusha's name. On that note, O Yashar'al, I pray that you will continually encourage. I pray that we grow in discernment, recognizing the voice of Abba Yahuwah that comes to us in Yahusha's name. My name is Symmanayah, and I say stay tuned, for there's much work to be done, and there's much more to come. End times are here. Remember, there are no rewind buttons. It's wise to know what it takes to move forward, and press forward, and come away from trying to preserve ego and pride. Defend what is righteous, O Yashar'al. On that note, stay tuned and continually be encouraged. Shalom, my brother, my sister, my family. Shalom.